Jeremiah, welcome to Podcastina.
Thank you so much for having me. Podcastina and Marina Del Rena.
Yeah. Galina, Ravina, and
Yeah,
Marina.
yeah, just hitting all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good to be here.
Good to have you. What
Got
do
the
you?
pup here?
Yeah, we got a pup. The pup is always the star.
I mean, it makes sense. Pretty chill. What up, dude? What up?
What are you looking forward to in life right now?
What am I looking forward to? The main thing on the forefront is I'm recording my next special at the end of October. I'm excited about that.
That's very exciting.
So I'm gearing up for that. I've just been running sets and yeah, just trying to prepare for that. If we're talking comedy stuff, life stuff, I don't know. My son is my older one just started TK, which is crazy. And then
Wait, what's TK?
it's like right before pre-K. So it
Oh,
was TK, pre-K, then kindergarten. I think that's how it works. Or TK is the new pre-K, I think.
it's my first time hearing that term.
Yeah, I think it's a newer term. Yeah. So yeah, good family stuff going on. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Things are good. Yeah.
With the creative direction for filming the special, how do you get all that locked in? Do you feel good about it?
Yeah, right now I'm getting everything that's like just tightening the bits, and then as we get closer to the special, I'm going to start reviewing all of my video to start dialing in physicality and stuff like that, like of how I'm moving, because that's a big part of what I do is act outs and stuff like that. So right now I'm making sure that the actual joke structure and everything's good, and then I'll look through and see like, okay, how can I make this movement funnier or whatever, and treat it more like, beats that way. Yeah.
You feel any pressure around it?
I think there's always a healthy amount of pressure. Anytime you film something where you're putting money into it, there's always more pressure than like, oh, we'll see what happens tonight. So yeah, there's always pressure, but it's an exciting pressure. I tend to do well under pressure, so I like to kind of rise to the occasion and make things happen. So I'm always kind of looking forward to that next challenge and making stuff happen. So yeah.
I love that mindset.
Yeah.
Do your kids, has that changed like your point of view on how you do things creatively?
Not so much creatively, but just time-wise. Things have to make sense in that way where I look at things and at time as more of a commodity that is, it dwindles as the years go on, of like, I have to be able to commit to things, and I'm like, all right, I'm passionate about this, I care about this, like I'm gonna allot this amount of time to do this because I believe in it or whatever, or I just want to do it for personal reasons or whatever it is. But I'm more cognizant of the time is, you only have so much in a day and weeks and months. So especially with kids, I want to be able to see them and spend quality time with them and be around as much as I can. But I'm definitely like, I'm a quality time dad over quantity, especially right now with how much I am on and off the road and stuff like that. So I try to juggle that as best I can. Yeah.
You kind of have to be. I mean, your schedule is nuts.
Yes. It's a little bit nuts. It's a little bit nuts. I don't even know if what's funny is I don't even know if your dog is in frame right now. So I'm just like, yes. And then I'm just like, oh, Jeremiah's gone completely insane.
I've had it to where I'll clip something for social media and I'll be, just petting him like this, just keeping him, satiated and whatnot. And then I clip it and then he's not in the frame and it looks like I'm petting the guest.
Yeah, that's always that's an awkward cut for the IG.
Oh, well, I feel like with kids and having any kind of kid who's in your life, really, as I pick the fur off of the microphone, it just shows the passage of time so much because of how quickly they change.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the thing that always messes me up. Like, I have a nephew now who's 1.5 years, and the rapid rate at which he changes physically, I'm like, oh, fuck, it's been a year and a half where I would have never really clocked that kind of time before him.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm literally seeing both my boys, they get taller. Sometimes I feel like after a weekend, when I'm gone on the road, I come back and I'm like, do they grow a little bit?
Probably.
They might have. They might have. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
How do you keep the romance alive in your relationship with 2 young kids?
I think it's just as much on me always, as if not more on me, as a husband and a dad to the 2 kids, to make sure that I'm making my wife feel good and not just like, when she is taking care of the boys and I'm gone for the weekend, it's, I'm sure, easy for her to feel like I'm just this mom who's taking care of these boys and they take and need and stuff like that. So I have to come back in, and it's my, I always feel like it's my job to make her feel like the hot mom she is. It's kind of up to me whether, like, to be like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, we'll take care of the boys and all that great stuff, but like getting it back to the root of like, she's my wife, I'm her husband at the end of the day, and that's how they even got here. That's the romantic side of me that I try to make sure is present in the relationship, is like, hey, like, without us there's never them.
Right.
So let's remember that always. So I try to do a good job of, trying to keep the romance alive as much as I can, and to not ever have her feel like she is, at the end of my mind or at the end of anybody's mind. So, yeah, that's how I try to do it.
I like that. That's a really good framework, and I haven't heard it put that way before.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Not gonna lie. I get uncomfortable sometimes talking not comedy.
Do you?
Oh,
we can stay off of it.
No, we can totally hit it, but I'm just saying, I'm transparent, and I'm letting you know where my mindset's at. So it's just what it is.
I think because, and granted, we don't know each other well, but we've been acquainted for probably a decade at this point.
Yeah. Quite a while.
From the outside looking in, I've always perceived you as like having a good head on your shoulders. And, I've met your wife and she's lovely. And so my curiosity always goes to, okay, what's behind like your mental stability and being a good influence in the world? Because there's all this like red pill bullshit and nonsense, and men are behind, and I get that. But to then be in a space talking to someone who is in what appears to be a very healthy relationship, I like to know what the kinds of ins and outs are.
How the cog in that machine is kind of working. I get it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But we can veer off of it.
No, if you have questions, I'm an open book. I'm just telling you, like, I'm very present, so I'd rather tell you how I'm feeling rather than if you see me shifting or whatever. It's literally because with comics and stuff, my love language is riffs, so that's just what it is. But I'm happy to talk about whatever and pet your beautiful dog all in the meantime.
Well, that's awesome. What would you say to guys who are struggling with women?
Wow. Take a look inside, brother. See what's going on. Why are you struggling? I mean, I would really, a lot of the way that I look at things, for the same reason when somebody treats you negatively, you're like, there's usually something that's going on inside with that person, okay? If you're not getting the results that you're wanting, whether it's relationship, career, whatever, take a look inside and see what's going on. And maybe it's not even something that's inside. What are you putting out there? What are you wanting? What are your wants? What are your desires? What are you putting out there that are your goals? And you could be, sometimes what you're putting out there is unobtainable for you right here, right now. And you have to work on some stuff and do some stuff to maybe get there. And I think that's with relationships as well. I don't think that it's, if you just want to hook up and stuff, there's women out there for that. If you want a more meaningful relationship, there's women out there that want that as well. But it takes work on any front.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes effort and work and time. And that's what I would say about that is just, you gotta be okay with looking inside and checking yourself and seeing like, what do I actually want out of relationships and stuff if you're struggling to get one. And that's what I'd say.
Well put.
Yeah.
Nailing it. Are you woo-woo at all? Like spiritual?
Yeah, I'm spiritual. Yeah, I would say I'm a very spiritual person. I grew up very religious, so I definitely have. I still believe in God. I don't go to church, but I believe in a lot of the things that the church is trying to teach. But I think that there's a lot of human error that happens in the translation that puts it out there where I think a lot of people, I think there's some amazing Christians out there that I have met over the years and that I know, but there's a lot of people who label themselves as Christians that are some of the most judgmental people you'll ever meet on the planet. So I would like to think that I have taken over the years what I've learned from religion, and I'd like to think that I try to, in best ways put it into my life, and I'm very much an energy-based person. That's where I get a little hippie. But I try to put out the positivity and good energy out into the world and hope that it finds me and hope that it reflects back my way. But I definitely don't fall in the category of a super religious person anymore, just because if I was super religious, two of the main things is you read your Bible and you go to church, and I don't really do either of those like right now. But I still believe in God, believe in all the teachings, and I still pray. So I'd like to think I'm going to heaven someday.
Yeah.
I'd like to think God is a cool enough guy that he's like, you did good down there. That's what I'm hoping. So, yeah.
I'm of the same ilk where there's not any kind of practicing religion, any formality to my belief system, but I believe in God and I pray. And I find that as I've gotten older, I've connected with that more in a manner of trying to teach myself to like not have so many control issues.
Yeah.
I take on the 12-step, give it to God, do that, the serenity prayer. I wake up every morning and I snuggle with him and I say it. And whether or not there's anything behind that, I do feel like it helps. When you pick a career like ours, there's so much that's out of your control, and there's so much belief that you have to wake up and continuously have in yourself and in the system. And I'm like, I have to give it to God or I'm going to go fucking insane.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I sometimes, if somebody doesn't do yoga or believe in God or have some higher power belief, I'm like, I don't know how you're doing this.
Yeah.
You gotta, I don't know, because it's just, what we chose to do is it's hard. Obviously there's a lot of occupations and careers that are very difficult, but the mental gymnastics of this particular career that we're in, you have to be so malleable and okay with the highs and the lows of what is happening. Otherwise, it's not, it's why it's mentally, you have to be pretty strong. You have to be pretty thick-skinned. Otherwise, you're just not going to last. Like, that's why people move away all the time. It's freaking hard.
It is. And LA is undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think we're still, because when I started, the kind of often heard rhetoric was that it takes 10 years. And of course, that's like an estimate. But with the internet being such a huge part of what's going on, do you feel like that's shifted, or is that still true? Or like, how long does it really take to find your creative voice?
I think that it still remains that it takes 10 years to get settled in whatever field that you are in. I see the internet, the only way that factoring where it differs is those are lottery ticket winners.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only, but you put one of those people who blew up on social media 2 years in to comedy, put them on a film set, put them in front of a teleprompter, put them in, you know what I mean? Put them in real world things outside of their phone. They're not going to be anywhere close to the person who's put 10 years in. It's just, that's literally just a time and repetition thing, though. That's, not me hating on like these influencers or whatever. That's literally just like an experience thing. Like a comic who's done 10 years of open mics and shows, and you put them on, like a set or something like that, like they're going to be, I think, slightly better than the person who just maybe made some viral videos that are a couple years in, kind of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. What point were you at when you didn't have to do any other kind of like weird non-comedy related gigs?
I was very fortunate in the way that I would consider myself a little bit of a lottery winner, because I moved to LA in 2009, and by 2012, I was able to pursue comedy full time. So since 2012, I've been doing comedy full time, comedy and acting related
That's
gigs.
amazing.
So I consider myself a lottery winner because I booked a couple years into living in LA. I booked a national commercial campaign, and that paid my bills for a year straight, and that allowed me to fully focus and get all my ducks in a row to get road work for, like, whether it's hosting or featuring at the time for different comics, and little weird odd jobs, whether it's like editing and different stuff like that, little acting gigs here and there. So I know that I'm very fortunate in that way, because there's people, that it takes a very, very long time to fully be able to give your undivided attention to comedy stuff. So, yeah.
Did you have any kinds of weird jobs before that you were like, I cannot do this with the rest of my life?
I mean, I've been very consistent with all of my jobs. The first job that I got, though, when I moved to LA, it was a kind of a telemarketing job, but I was selling people the idea of an EPK. Do you know what that is? An electronic press kit?
No.
It's like kind of a dated term now, but basically we would call up people on MySpace and we would say, hey, we want to represent you and put together an electronic press kit for your music and different stuff like that, so that way we can send it off to different labels, etc. Turns out, I ended up quitting that job. I was like, some of this feels a little bit shady sometimes, whatever. And then turns out later on, it was in fact a scam of a company that I was working for. So that sucked, but luckily I wasn't a very good salesman, so I only got probably maybe a dozen people, where there's other people who were killing it on that job who had like hundreds of people.
Oh no.
So sorry to the dozen people that I sold you. No idea. They told me that it was legit, and I believed them. And then after I left months later, like, there was articles that came out that it was a scam and all this stuff. I was like, ugh. Then I worked at Starbucks. Until I booked that commercial. But I was doing a bunch of background work in the meantime. One like weird full circle moment of LA was I did background work on the set of Entourage, and this is like almost 15 years ago.
That show was iconic, though.
It was great. It was awesome, and I've done some shows with Jeremy Piven since, and know him now, and it's just like, that's a weird one. That's a weird one where it's like, dude, I was doing background work, and I talked with him on set as an extra back in the day, and that's just like a weird Hollywood thing. I'm like, that's bizarre. Kid from Kansas.
Yeah, but that's what being in comedy long enough kind of tends to turn out, these types of situations where you're like, what? This happened? I had something like that happen very early on. I was doing a show in Ojai, and a woman in the front row, I just was like, she's so familiar. I couldn't quite place it during the set, and after I got off stage, I was like, oh, that was Corey's mom from Boy Meets World. I grew up watching that show. And so to be entertaining her for even just the 15 or 20 minutes that I did on that show, I was like, this is so crazy.
That's awesome. Heck yeah. Yeah, Corey's mom. Loved Corey's mom. She was great.
Boy Meets World was just so great.
I mean, I was a big Boy Meets World. All that TGIF lineup was so good. I mean, all those sitcoms of the 90s, I freaking loved it.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, I mean, even like I watched like Even Stevens and Step by Step, and I'm trying to think of some of the other, of course, Family Matters, Fresh Prince, all that stuff. Yeah, so good. I watched Girl Meets World, and one of the things that they did that I feel like they started to do a lot later in the 90s is every adult character is the biggest buffoon you've ever. They're like the way they make adults in these Disney sitcoms now is like they would not be able to function in life. They're like, well, I don't. What do you mean? Well, even Corey, they made Corey stupid. I'm like, he was like silly stupid like on the sitcom as a kid, but it wasn't like his whole personality was a bumbling fool kind of a thing. And that's how they made him as a dad. And I'm like, I can't watch this. Too much.
Oh, that makes me happy I didn't try it. I didn't want it to like taint my relationship with that show.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that you stuck with the original. Fina?
Oh, such a good. What are you watching? Because like right now, I feel like there's no good TV on at all.
More movies at the moment. I just watched and I loved it. Friendship with Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. It's if you watch the sketch show, I Think You Should Leave. It's basically like one long sketch in the movie, and it's just like this beautiful dark comedy that really haven't seen something like it since like The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. It's really good. It's like befriending like Paul Rudd befriends this guy who's like way too clingy, and it's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so just a bunch of movies and stuff like that. I'm excited to watch the new Final Destination Bloodlines just came out on HBO, so I'll be watching that soon, probably when my mom visits. I watch horror movies with my mom. That's like one of our things that we do.
That's so cool.
I've seen all the Saw movies with my mom. We love like getting like grossed out and terrified by like horrible stuff. Like I saw, well, not grossed out, but I saw The Sixth Sense in the theaters with my mom at like a late showing, like on a school night. Like it was great. I felt so cool. That was like the kind of stuff that my mom would be like, "Yeah, don't worry about school tomorrow. Like we're gonna go see this movie."
Oh,
yeah.
She's cool.
Oh, she would pick us up at in the middle of the day sometimes, and we'd be like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I just felt like taking you guys out. Let's go to lunch. Let's go get McDonald's. Let's go to the park." Yeah.
You have to be a certain type of person. I think your nervous system has to be a certain way to be able to enjoy and appreciate horror movies. I can't do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're too real for you?
It's too even when they're ridiculous, but the closer they are to reality, something like and I never saw it, but what are the ones? I'm sure you've seen them. There's like a series where it's like a ghost, but you don't actually see the ghost. Anything with like jump scare moments, or there's like a building to something, I can get away with watching.
Is it The Conjuring or any of
Probably.
those series?
Yeah, I can't even
Insidious,
approach them.
The Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love those movies. I love those. Yeah, they're some of my favorite movies.
I can do like Jeepers Creepers. I can do ones where there's like a weird character monster thing, because that to me,
can you do Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Freddy or
yeah? I don't like it, but I can.
The Jason movies?
I can, yeah.
That's interesting. So more supernatural you're not messing with, because that could be real.
Yep.
Okay.
My roommate's out of town for a month and a half, and so if I hear a little noise, that I'm out of sleep.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. That makes sense. It needs to be far enough away from reality where like it's just a movie. But the supernatural, that's where, you don't know if something's going to, lift up off your bookshelf or something. And have you ever had anything like that happen? Any ghost encounters or spirit encounters?
Not that I have like these moments of what feel like clairvoyancy.
Really?
Which is not freaky to me, but it does kind of connect me more to that part of me that I'm like, oh, there's other things happening besides just what's on paper accepted in life.
Can you give an example of sometime maybe that you felt kind of clairvoyant?
Yeah, totally.
Was something that like came true that you had maybe no way of knowing or whatever?
Yeah, just a few months ago, I had a very intense dream that I normally don't even remember my dreams,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a dream that Kim Congdon, who you know,
Yeah.
was holding my hand walking me up a hill. And I woke up in the morning and I told my roommate, I go, I never say this, but I had a dream that felt like a premonition. And that night I ran into Kim, did not know she was in town, like ran into her the same day. And I've had a few incidents where I've dreamt of someone and like something comes out in the news about them that day, or I run into them, and it's just happened a handful of times, but that's a recent one that freaked me out.
Huh. Wonder what the hill represents in your dream.
Yeah,
Do you ever look at dream journals or anything like that?
Sometimes.
Hmm.
That one outside of that, I was like, okay, I guess I was meant to run into her. I was meant to know that I was running into her.
Was that one at the Comedy Store when you ran into her?
Yes.
The hill could represent the hill that you maybe have had to drive up.
Yeah,
at the
quite
Comedy
literally.
Store. Literally. I mean, I drove up there and walked up and down that hill for years, and it's something that I associate with the Comedy Store because it's one of the only places that you can park outside the Comedy Store on Sunset, and I associate that hill. So that's what I thought of when you said that she was walking up a hill with you. Yeah.
And I grabbed her and I went, "You were in my dream last night." And she's like, "Okay."
It's like, was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So things like that, things where I think I manifest stuff unintentionally, accidentally. Like I had put on my to-do list, change battery. And what I meant was change the remote battery inside my key fob to my car.
Okay.
And then a day later, my car battery died and I had to change it. So I'm like, did I accidentally manifest that by not being specific enough on my to-do list?
Huh.
Things like that, where it's in a gray area for sure.
It's like in the realm of possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I manifested some banana pudding very randomly. It's more about, I guess, manifesting stuff than clairvoyancy, or maybe a little bit of both.
How did you manifest banana pudding?
I had been really thinking about it, like craving it. Chick-fil-A had a seasonal banana pudding milkshake.
Okay.
And I missed the window to get it.
Oof.
And I was very mad at myself.
That's rough.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it on a very specific day. And that day there was a food truck downstairs at the Circle outside my apartment. And it was a dessert truck. And they had it highlighted that they had the world's best banana pudding.
If that's not manifesting, I don't know what is.
That's what I'm saying.
That is, man, can you manifest some banana pudding right now?
I wish I could. I know. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, that'd be good.
That's one of my favorite desserts, banana pudding.
Same.
Oh, my goodness. Ridiculously good.
Yeah, but things like that. And so I think where it comes in, especially you mentioned Final Destination, I definitely can't watch stuff like that because I'm already thinking of those kinds of scenarios anyways, and I don't want someone to come up with one that's even more detailed than one that my anxious brain would have come up with anyway.
Yeah, I was trying to watch it with my wife last night when we were in bed, and she's like, we're about to go to sleep. No, I don't want to watch this. I was like, all right, cool. Save for my mom. That's fine. She's coming later in the month. That's great. I'll watch stuff like that and go right to sleep. I don't really care. Unless it's, I can do that with horror, but if it's a sad drama, that's when I won't watch those before bed.
Those stay with you.
Yeah. Those are like, I always am like, all right, I got to watch, even if it's part of an episode of Friends or like something familiar, like just to put me in a good mood before bed. Or sometimes if I have a bad dream and my alarm goes off, I will go back to sleep for another 20 minutes because I'm like, I'm not starting the day on a bad dream. I'll shift stuff in my schedule, but I'm not starting the day on this weird bad dream.
I can't do that either.
Yeah.
There's a little like rhyme, I guess you could call it, but a thing that I grew up hearing from, I guess, my mom whenever I had a bad dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in Russian, but it's like you wake up and you kind of shake it off and you go, not my bad dream, and you disown it, and then you start listing like everyone in your household, and you're like, not my wife's, not my kids, not my dogs, like, and it kind of ritualistically like does cleanse it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Try that next time.
I had an acting teacher that said, this is interesting. She said something like, I'm going to butcher what she actually said, but here's the gist, is that whatever mood you are in, you have the power to change that mood within 30 seconds. But you have to take a moment to yourself and completely zen out and force yourself to reset, basically. Like recenter yourself, reset. So if you're having a horrible day and you feel like there's this bad luck that's been sneaking up on you left and right and you're just like down and you're aggravated, you have the power to get out of that mindset if you just take a moment to yourself and really believe and really hone in on, I'm going to shift my mood right now, I'm going to shift the energy, and that's going to change everything entirely. And I think it can work if you give yourself over to the idea of it. But if you're not willing to believe in the idea of it, then you're going to still be upset after 30 seconds. Be like, this didn't work.
It totally works, and it is a matter of commitment. And to take the kind of woo-woo ridiculousness out of that and to convince people to actually do it, it's cognitive bias. It's scientifically proven. If you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm going to have a shitty day, you're going to go out and look for evidence that you're going to have a shitty day, and you're going to confirm with yourself that it's a shitty day rather than doing the opposite. So I always, when I get into like some kind of stressful situation, I'm running late to the airport, whatever, I will stand there and repeat to myself, everything's always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. There's always a parking spot for me. And I swear to God, it works.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good practice for sure to get into. Otherwise, you just set off a chain of events of bad luck in your life.
Yeah.
And you're like, why is this happening to me? It's like, well, you might be looking for ways to make that happen to yourself.
I don't like to look for places where I'm a victim and then confirm that if I don't have to.
No, it sucks. Yeah. Yeah, why keep yourself in that hole? Get a shovel and dig.
Do you have other tools that you use to kind of get yourself in a good mental state?
Music is a big one for me. I think music is, one of those universal things where they can put you in a really good mindset and can change and alter your mood in a positive way right away. I think, whether it's some people do yoga, like meditation, or pray, just take a reset. I'm also a napper. If I'm having a rough day, sometimes I can take a 10 to 15 minute nap and reset and be like, that was the first part of the day that was not going my way. Let me just reset with a nap if I have the time to do that. And then, okay, I'm back. It's like, it's like a mind trick. It's like, this is a new day.
Well, you could find 10 minutes anywhere. If you can't find 10 minutes, you have worse issues. Monty.
Sometimes 10 minutes is hard to find.
I guess with two small kids,
sometimes.
It can be.
But the juggle gets a little insane sometimes with but that's me. I'm an admitted workaholic with stuff, and sometimes I overbook myself, and my wife has a good balancing factor of reminding me to not take on as much as I sometimes am. But yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes there are days where 10 or 15 minutes I don't have once I get going, and then I'm just like, okay, on to the next thing. But I can usually find a way to force myself to make time for that 15 minutes of like, okay, this will positively affect the rest of the day if I just take a step back for a moment and take the hit on this time. Yeah.
Do you overbook yourself because you're trying to like optimize, or what is that?
Definitely optimize. I just have so many things that I want to do, Kalina. I have so many things that I want to do. And I sometimes stretch myself too thin because it's a lot. It's just a lot of things. I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish and do, and I have a lot of likes and passions and hobbies, and I'm happiest when I'm busiest, so I'm booking myself to the fullest.
I mean, it's working out. Not to encourage what could be an unhealthy habit,
right.
You know, you obviously are a motivated guy. It's gotten you as far as it has.
Yeah, it's working out. Sometimes I have to take a step back and do the me time thing, but what's good about, it's one of the best things honestly about being a dad and a husband is like that grounds me in a way where like if I did not have those things, I would probably be a little bit worried about my mental health and stuff because I would fill that time that I do with family and just more comedy stuff, and then I don't think I'd be living like a life.
Right.
You know?
Probably not.
Like the classic thing is sometimes when you ask a comic, and I even did it at the top of the show, but I mean, whatever. You ask somebody like how they're doing, and they list off I hit this mic, I did this show, and you're like, we're not talking about that. I'm asking more, how are you doing? Just like more with the juggle of all that. How are you doing? Like, you know, and as comics, you know, I think that's easy for us to do because I think that it's, you know, it feels good to be like, I'm doing the thing. Like I'm very guilty of that sometimes, and I've had to get way better of that over the years, with talking with people of, you know, just remembering to be a person outside of the personality and comedian.
It's tough with comedy because being a comedian is not just an occupation. It does seep into being more of an identity thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because if it's not your identity, then other comics, at least part of your identity, I think other comics are like, well, they're not taking this seriously.
Right.
Right? Are they even really doing it?
And while it's such an individual sport, it is so important to be part of the community. And you rarely see a comedian who is really thriving that's just a total, like an island outside of themselves, that they have no relationships with other comedians, no kind of like collaborations with other comedians. It's pretty rare.
It is. It for sure is. Yeah. I mean, for me, that's literally one of my favorite things of comedy is the community aspect of it.
Same.
You know, I've been very, very fortunate over the years to be a part of some very cool ensemble-based shows around LA, and I love it. I mean, because stand-up, you know, when you're headlining out on the road, that can be where it's the loneliest because a lot of times you don't know the other comics that you're working with at the club. You know, they're putting you with people that you're hoping are cool, but even the little bit that you're hanging out with them at the club, sometimes, you know, they have their own lives. Like sometimes you're just going right back to the hotel room. So having a community aspect like at the clubs and even getting involved with shows that are maybe not just pure stand-up in LA, that's been the coolest part of the aspect of living in a city like LA is like there are shows that even exist like that where you meet all kinds of different walks of life with people and meet different kinds of friends within the community and stuff.
Who's been the most surprising person you've met through that type of work?
Through like ensemble work?
Yeah, because I'm sure that your involvement in some of these shows has led to you meeting like really random people that you were probably like, oh my God, I'm working with this person.
Wow, who's the most surprising? That's a tough one. The most surprising. I mean, I've been surprised by just, I mean, when you do shows that are ensemble based, it is really cool to see and work with people that you normally wouldn't with your stand up. And that's when you're like, oh, this person is like a genius in what they do. And one of those people, like where like you see, like I've worked with them so much over the years, but Jamar Neighbors is to me one of the most underrated comics in the game. He's very, you know, I think that he is very known within the comedy community as somebody who is brilliant, but I think that it's just a matter of time for that guy before he's like so giant. In my opinion, I think he's like next level funny. He's one of those guys who I you know, love working with.
He's one of the most unique voices we have.
For sure. For sure. There isn't another, you know, comedic takes like Jamar has.
Not even close.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good example.
Yeah. So I would say he's up there as far as like somebody who surprised me with the way that their mind works, where I'm like, oh, our minds work so differently, but they complement each other when we work together. So, and we have like-minded ways, and the same things make us laugh. So I'll be dying in the back of the room watching him, and I'll hear him dying when I'm doing something stupid on stage. So like we speak that same kind of comedy language. So that's cool.
What's it been like doing these bigger venues now and like bigger shows?
It's amazing. I will say, the most recent run of big shows that I've gotten to be a part of is my buddy Adam Ray. We do the Dr. Phil live shows, and it's incredible doing these bigger venues like the theaters and stuff like that. But I will say, like, if I'm being like a comedy nerd about it, the clubs are still better and more conducive to comedy than the huge venues. They're very cool and they're incredible to do, like these runs that we've done. But I would say like the shows like at the Comedy Store in the main room versus like a big theater, I'll take the main room of the store. You're right on top of the audience, and you just there's just this invisible wave that's going between you and the audience, that there's just a little bit of separation when those bigger venues where it's not quite as back and forth, where it's more, more like a play, where it's slightly more presentational, and the back and forth is not quite as there energy wise. But for some of the characters and stuff that I've done on the road, sometimes the venues do work out in a way where I'm like, oh, for this particular character, I think this character did do better because it is in a bigger venue. So it's all setting and based on like what you want out of it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that makes sense, because even when in a theater, and the difference between the main room and that is just that like 5-10 feet between the stage and where the row starts, that is like a physical disconnect.
Yeah, for sure. But it's fun. I mean, I'm super grateful that I've gotten to do some of these venues. And one of the coolest things about the venues is, which is similar to places like the Comedy Store, is you can feel the history at some of these venues, and you look backstage at the walls that have been signed by different artists, and you're like, whoa, a ton of crazy musicians have been here, a ton of crazy comics, different shows that were on a run that later went to Broadway and stuff. That's very cool, where you're like, I'm on the same stage as all those people. That's a cool
That's so fun
element of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had any moments where you've been like fangirling because of somebody who's been there?
There's this one venue that's in Detroit called the Fox Theater, and that's still, I think that's probably one of the most beautiful venues in the country. And there was just a bunch of bands and stuff that had played there that you could just tell, like, oh, there's a reason why they chose this venue. It's so epic, like, and it was a great show that we did Dr. Phil live with Adam, and it was it was a cool night for sure.
What you were saying, music is like a good way for you to get out of your head and connect. Like, what kinds of music are we talking about?
I listen to literally everything but country. So, sometimes I will use music if I'm in a certain mood. If I'm like a little upset or whatever, I might put on something that's more like a Linkin Park or something like that, or like some kind of heavier rock or something, like a System of a Down or something like that.
I was just listening to them 2 days ago.
I love them
Me
so
too.
much. I need to see them live still.
I need to go to the coffee shop that Serge opened in Glendale. Do you know
what
about
I heard.
this?
Yeah. Jack Jr., he's like buddies with Serge and those guys. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn, that's cool.
Because he's known them for a bit, and he's like, we should go to one of their concerts. I was like, yeah, he's like, do you want to go to the Toronto one? I'm like, no, I'm out of town that weekend. But I want to see them live. Yeah, they've been one of my favorite bands for a long time. But sometimes, I've also, if I'm really wanting to calm down or even put myself like almost in a sleepy state or like a zen-like state, Enya has been a go-to for
Ooh.
years. I love some good Enya. She has calmed me down a lot. And she would be one of those people who, if I met in real life, where I would have to thank her for how many times she has eased stress and anxiety for me. Because I for years, I had an Enya playlist that I would put on when I was flying, and it would just soothe me and put me to sleep, and then I'd wake up feeling so good because it was just like, I don't know, incredible voice and just beautiful rhythmic soothing tones like with her vocals and just the music in general. And I've got different feel good songs that I put on like when I'm like in a happy, like funky kind of mood. And yeah, it's kind of like a direct reflection and extension of how I'm feeling.
It's a good way to use music for sure. You can't feel it's just such a juxtaposition to listen to Enya and then be spiraling.
I know, right?
You can't crash out to Enya.
No. She does it right.
Are you taking care of your physicality that way? Would you say you're like a Huberman husband or you into any of that?
No. I need to get better about it. You know what, though? Ironically, you're catching me at a really good time. This last week, literally this last week, I've been doing yoga again, and I feel so much better. I've been doing this 30-day yoga challenge. I skipped one of the days, so I'm already not doing. But I'm on I need to do day 8 tonight at some point before I go to sleep.
Still a good streak.
But it's a good streak so far. But it's been a great way to feel good physically, because also as my sons get heavier, I need to condition myself literally so I can play with them for as long as possible, because they're getting heavy, and when I pick them up, it's not the easiest sometimes. And sometimes they want me to pick both of them up, and it's like it's a lot of weight distributed in weird parts of your body. So I've been doing yoga, and then it's also been a great motivator since I'm shooting this special at the end of next month. I am treating it in a way where I'm like, I need to be as fit as possible with my breath and my endurance, because I'm going to be doing a couple shows like each night for the taping, and I'm pretty physical like in general, but in my hour, like there's moments that are very physical and taxing within the hour, and I want to make sure that I'm not like breathing into the mic a lot, like between the bits, so I don't want to look out of breath. So I've been trying to get better about being physically more put together. But on the road, it is challenging. There's never good menu options at these clubs.
No.
So it's more like I know I'm going to eat bad on the road, and then I come home, and then I'm trying to make
up for lost
reset.
time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing the special. I know you got to get out of here. So Jeremiah Watkins, thank you for doing the show. Where can people find your work?
I'm at Jeremiah Stand Up on social media, JeremiahWatkins.com for tour dates. And then I've got a couple great YouTube shows, Stand Up on the Spot and Trailer Tales, that you can find. And I put out weekly stand-up clips and stuff at youtube.com/Jeremiah Watkins. So a bunch of fun stuff if you want to go down the silly rabbit hole with me.
Amazing. Well, thank you for doing the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye.